How you going, MANIC? How you going? This is MANIC Magic. Just doing my live stream, doing a few acrylic pours. Chat to people in the chat and see who's about. Already got 2 thumbs up, so there must be someone around because I know people lurk. Because when I was doing my butterfly, Dan the Man drone warship, he was mentioned about my butterfly, but I'll talk to him a private about it because I've got plans for it, and I'm quite aware of what he's been saying, and I'm aware, was formerly aware of it before he put it to my attention. So don't worry, Dan, I've got it all sorted out. It all comes down to whether it'll fly or whether it won't fly, and we'll discuss that later. It's all down to marketing. All right, that's all I'll say. Okay. Yeah, so what we're doing here is we've got a tray here, and I try to keep my bench level. I'll keep it as level as I can. I can go by eye. And I do have a spirit level. I set it up with the camera and everything, as well as the bench. So what I do is I've got just a paper here. I do have canvases, and I do have boards like this. These here that I got out of my box there. And I'll end up painting my whole box with it too. Is you can make miniatures, and I've got little square ones. So I'll make 3 miniatures as well. And what you do is you do a landscape, and then you glue little tiny shells and little tiny bits of driftwood, and then you have your lacing and that there. And then it looks like the water's going up against the shells and the driftwood, and then you put a clear varnish over it or epoxy resin, and then I can frame them afterwards if I want to. But I like them putting the epoxy resin over the outside edge and paint all the way down the sides, and it just gives it a nice presentation. And they're a nice solid piece of timber, and I plan to cut up MDF as well because it's cheaper. But I got these with the box that I opened up for unboxing, and they were the dividers. But the good thing is, if I want to use these dividers, they'll just have a landscape on it. It's not a problem. What I want to do is get my box, and I'll tape that up into squares and do landscapes on that too, and then block it in black or gold or whatever I wish to do. I did these boxes a long time ago. My first one I did for my mother for her birthday, and what I did was it's a simple taped off edged box and painted it with black, and then taped it again to put in the jade blues and different colors. And what I did was a swipe, and it made it look like jade. And once I'd allowed that to dry and removed the tapes, I varnished it, and it's just a little jewellery box where she used to keep her gear, and she loved it and cherished it for many years. So with no further ado, let's start cracking. Right, these are the basic kit that you do. Is you buy these cocktail glasses at a cheap shop or off of eBay. I buy heaps of these for a couple of dollars, and there's about, I don't know, 50 of them. 30 ml cups. They're shotties, because shots are done in 15 ml or 30 ml. And these are ideal. The reason why I don't do a cup is a cup is for a big piece, And if you don't use it all, what you do is you save all these plastics up, but you can buy a heap of them at the stationery as well. This one's got a hole in it, but that doesn't matter. Why it's got a hole in it, I don't know. I think that was just to take the air out, but you can tape that up anyway. The reason being is you've got two sleeves here, and you can make one on one side, and then later you can make one on the other. And then what you do is you just cut it along the edge, and you've got two skins. These are perfect size to wrap like Rodney Bell's cups. You know, the furnaces that keeps your drink hot or cold. Well, you make skins of different colours, and with the Technics that I do, and then you put my MANIC Magic sticker, and then I put a butterfly sticker. You do it so even the men will be proud to have it, because I won't do it too gaudy. I'll do it like blues, or I can do it in space or water. It'll be like ocean and stuff. Yeah. So that's good for leftovers, and you put it all on there. And if it doesn't look quite work out, you add a little bit more to it. It just becomes a bit thicker. You can lace over the top. It looks good. So I've got my cup. Right. You've got your conditioner. The only thing I haven't got is water, which I have. I'd have to go and get it. But this is conditioner. You can buy conditioner in liquid form and add to it. But I put a teaspoon of that in it, right? Because this is a hair product. It has already the conditioner in it. And that's to stop your hair from cracking. Well, what does the conditioner do to aid the acrylic paint? Stop it from cracking. Plus, it gives it a delicious texture, if that's the word. Then you put a bit of water. Then you can add a little bit of Aqua Deer, which I've misplaced it. Oh, well, I don't have to have it. And because it's got glue in it as well. Then you put a couple of drops of this or treadmill oil. This is a hair product. It's got coconut oil in it. But the ingredient that's very important is on the bottle here, is what's on the lubricant or your prolactive lubricant as well, found in those slippery gear that you purchase. And it's got the ingredient that's just hypo slippery, and that's what reacts to your acrylic. Plus, once you've done your pour, and you've got to put the bottom, what you want to use that when you pour it out. So you put the white in first, because that's the top layer. So you go white, and then you darker all the way to your lighter. Sorry, lighter to your way to your darker. But you put a white down or a black down or a blue. It's just as your base color. And you let that slip over the top, over the surface. So it gives it a flow medium. So it floats. So I got a big rake, or you can use a lacing tool for leather. All it is a rake, similar to if you have a trowel for plastering or a trowel for tiling. And all that does, it brings the liquid even and spreads it out. Right. Plus, at the end, you have a special gun. Right, so I don't know if you can see that well. And I bought a gun for about $7. and it wouldn't fit any of the gas items that I had, like the tubes. This is designed for custards and toffees and chocolate, like melting. The cylinder that you're heating it up, and it allows the chocolate to separate from the container or vessel. So these are great because they come with it. You can get one of these from Bunnings, and for $30 with that and the canister, so you know what canister. And then you can buy a packet of 6 of these for about $1 each. And only at Bunnings you can get it at that price. Some of these go for about $15 each, but for $1 a piece, and it does a wicked flames. So I'll show you. Just for you wind this up, allow the gas out, and you go like this. I don't want to heat up there. Right, so the bluer the flame, the better. I don't want to set my cables alight. So this has got a lot of gas in it, and that'll last me a while, and I've got 6 more. It's like when you're doing oxy and acetylene, it comes down to a mixture of oxygen. The redder the flame, the more oxygen. The less oxygen, you're basically using more gas, and that provides the heat. And what you're trying to do is, once the chemical reaction works, you're trying to activate the cells by heating it up, and it works real well. And once it happens, leave it. Too many acrylic pour classes or tutorials, I used to yell at the TV and say, "Stop, stop." And they'd go too far and almost ruin it. So I learned a lot from their mistakes, because a lot of this pouring was new to me. And a person that I spoke to at the hardware, because I get mostly all my items from Bunnings. I get the paint from Bunnings. I get the gas from Bunnings. I get the acrylic carbonate sheeting from Bunnings. I get the seed mat, and I'll show you at a later stage what I need the seed mat for. It gives 3-dimensional paintings, gives it depth and texture, and it's done in such a way that it's light and cheaper. Plus, I get all my brushes from there, and I have several brushes there. I'll just show you briefly, because I done that tutorial, but I did show you, explain to you where I got them from. I get all my watercolor and acrylic paint brushes, like I'll just show you under here. So they're the brushes. They're beautiful. They're thick and thirsty. So good for watercolors or acrylic, but mainly watercolors with the thirstiness. Allows you to put a lot of water in it and a thin tip. The reason why they're good, you can still give thin strokes or wide strokes, but the wider the strokes, you can stay there, Ziggy. My doggy wants to go out, and she always wants to go when I'm on camera. You can wait, sweet. Trowel I need. Plus I buy these hake brushes. They're good for watercolors. They're good for swishing water on. When I say swish, you just apply the water before you, on an angle, you allow the water medium to go down, and then when you paint, you can try to make the water as a three-dimensional effect in watercolors. But that's another story, another project, another tutorial. I've got some friends out there that's in the drone community that's interested in painting, and they would like to be shown how to do that. So what I'll do is I'll get some of this. I need some white first. Add water at the end. Oh, or I can add some water now. But that's probably enough. And I've been using this for a lot of tests. And I had problems with my heat gun in a lot of the tests, but they did sell. And I sell in CELL, meaning separation. Hence, jail cell for a separation. Right. You can actually put this stuff once you've mixed it up, or you can pour that straight in. I've got an empty bottle that I can do that to, and you can do writing and little figures and whatnot with it too. Another technique. If it doesn't come out straight away, it's usually a reason. That's what the reason is. That's what I got. One sec. I think my dog. Oh, I was going to check. I forgot. What you do is there's a hole there. All right, she must want some water. It's because no one's watching. My dog comes first. Well, my dog comes first, even if someone was watching. You want some water, sweetie? All right, move back. Take my headphones off. Don't curl up. What's up? You've got no water. No, you've got water. What this is. I don't know what your problem is. You want to go outside? All right, come on outside. Leave the door open for me. Yeah, don't go anywhere. Oh, well, I'm up. I've got the water. It's only a little bit of water, but that's all that's required. See, what the conditioner does, got this right, yeah, is we'll go with the water too, and that stops it from cracking. Right, some blue. These are new bottles. That's why I had to take the little seal off. So you just judge the measurement, because you can have it more and less depending on what effect you want. This one should be open. These colors doesn't matter really what layer, choice of layers, but always put the white down first. This one's new, so I mean, I've got some that's half open, but this is what I first picked because I'll use them again. These a lot of these paints haven't dried up, and some of them are 3 years that I had when I was in hospital, or 4 years now, and never used because I've had a spell from any art because I just could not feel up to it. Right, as you can see with the glitter, you can see how clear this is. That's why you need a thicker color to sometimes I'll pre-coat these with a white or a gesso. A gesso is a sealer. It's got some, like, I think it's got acrylic glue in it or something like that, and it sort of like seals it from the paint going through. A lot of it's only cheap Charlie stuff. It's the expensive stuff that's got other stuff in it that's more superior. Now, the difference between the cheap stuff and the superior stuff comes down to longevity. It will last a lot longer, and so you can hand it down. That's why they use the medium of oils. They can last a long time. If they're looked after, they can last quite a couple of 100 years. Where acrylic paints, they tend to fade or crack, and they don't have the jeopardy. But if you add conditioners and stuff, they'll last at least 70 years or more. And that's what it comes down to. Life and jeopardy. And what I do is an oil acrylic hybrid. I can see my Aquadeer on the other TV. When did I use that last? I reckon it's under some gear there. I need that Aquadeer, I think. I don't know. I see it in this corner somewhere. My fella fallen over when I put the papers on it. Yes. Crazy times. Right. What I'm trying to attempt is I think this one here. Oh, my camera is there. As I've shown this many times on a lot of tutorials. Right. I'll just wait till the camera comes into focus. Get rid of my bra. Now, as you can see, all the water's done with acrylic pouring, and I've still got to do lacing as well. Well, the first attempt is you do the background scene, and in this effect, all I'm doing is doing a body of water and then putting the trees and whatnot around it afterwards. But as you can see, I've still got to put more layers. And once you put the gloss on it, or the epoxy resin, and all this cardboard will be glued to a solid board with a frame. And then once it's sealed, then I epoxy resin it, board and all, frame and all. And then this will be presented to a good mate of mine that's got a coffee shop. There used to be and he does like a big swimming pool out the front of his shop, out in the natural lake, and it's safe for the children. hence why the children and they are playing. Yep, so they're playing out there, and they've got canoes, and this is a perspective of a drone flight. Yeah, but it almost appears like a top of a swimming pool. So when you sit out there, because it's so shallow, it looks like the ripples and the currents. Yeah, quite effective. Right. I need that brush. I got paddle sticks, but I didn't use them. I'll just clean this off. Got tissues and toilet paper. Right, what else does it need? That's right, it needs... This is the coconut oil. And you can put this in a shake bottle like that, and it can do wicked cells. See how it's selling up already? I should have mixed this with water with the conditioner first, else it mix up the cells too much. But then again, these are miniatures, so I'll probably need little tiny cells. The green was fairly thick, so I might actually add some water. So that's why I'm glad I've got plenty of room. So I'll just loosen it up a bit with the water that I already have. Go 10 stirs one way and 10 stirs the other. I learnt that off of Ken Heron's show. When you swing your drone around and go around and around circles, you must go the other way, else you get dizzy. I don't know if that's true, but Ken does it and makes him happy. And what makes Ken happy makes me happy. With the water, it's actually thinning up quite nice. I could probably add a little bit more water. See how that's selling. See, I've got heaps of rubber gloves too. And do I use them? No. I've got all the gear that you need. But, well, Aquadeer's gone missing. See how you do that for the first layer to see if it covers. Excuse me. So you know that it's thick enough, because you want it to run off. So it's not really running. This one's okay, but I think I'll put a bit more fluid in the... See, the first layer you don't actually have to put oil in it, because you don't need it to sell. It's only to cover it. Right, so you let that sort of settle, and if a bit pours over the sides, that won't matter. Whatever the excess is will cover that. Right, so I might need to put a tiny bit of water in it. Remembering you got some conditioner in it. So, because the more water ratio you do, the more your paint will crack. It's like if you add more water to concrete. And me being a concreter from way back, it was one of my first jobs. You know that if you add more water, it'll make your concrete weaker and crack. Yeah, a lot thinner now. See, the more colour you put there, and where it doesn't go even, it actually allows the paints to be darker and lighter, and it can actually, it looks like an effect where there's the water's slightly deeper or shallower, or it show a reflection. It's quite handy. Now, if it was a bigger canvas, which is usually this will do a canvas about that big, I would pour the whole lot and dump it. I do have some canvases. I should go and grab one and show that as well, because once you've done that, you can then do your painting over the top. So what I can do is let them dry. Try not to have any lumps in your paint. That's where the better quality paint comes into play. See how the different colours there is selling? And what I'm doing is water's horizontal. So if that, where there's less paint, and they'll act as like little bubbles, and I can heat that up in a minute to take them bubbles out, because that's the other thing with the heat gun. It makes the bubbles pop. So these are going to be little artworks of Lake Bonny. And that's what I want to try to achieve. Get some toilet paper. Toilet paper, if you get it cheap enough, use it, abuse it, put it in the bin. Oh, we've got 2 watching. How you going, guys? Got anything to say? Just put it in the chat. And if Dan's out there lurking, no, I'm not doing my butterfly today, but I've got everything out of control with my butterfly. Right. That heat there starts bringing the cells out. And this is only just one type of paint. And you can see that there is variation in the cells. And that's just for a back coat. So I'll go and get some white paint, which is a silvery white, so it doesn't matter. It's just got white with glitter in it. And I'll get one of my canvases, because these obviously need a bit of preparation, because the wood grain will allow the paints not to show up. Just excuse me and bear with me. I won't be 30 seconds. Got everything on wheels. It's great. So I can shift things around. So I've always got room. Yeah. I do this technique not only on canvases. You buy these. Yeah. Hope you didn't see my bum leaning over there, but yeah, if you buy these little boxes off of eBay, and if you buy 5 of these, I don't know how they do it. They're about $1 each, right? You get them in square, rectangles, and they're all sealed wood, and really solid wood too. They're just not your flimsy wood. It's got a fair bit of thickness to it, and it's got the hinges and everything. I don't even know how they can do the hinges, like, even if they're 10 cents each, 10, 20, 30 cents there just for the hinges. And the wood, you know, let alone the wood is probably for free, right? But it still cost them to assemble it. And I mean, look at the craftsmanship of it. Yes, they might probably been rough, and all they've done is put it straight up to the sander and got the square edges, but it's not rough and ready. It's not like some cheap places where you get them and they're really rough and ready. These are really well assembled. And as you can see how thick that timber is on the bottom, perfect for little jewelry boxes, ideal for little gifts. And what you do is you can do this acrylic pour on top. And then what you do is once it's dried, you can tape off the edges. Like you do masking cars and stuff when restoring old cars. And what you do is then you can paint that in a black or a gold or whatever, in a contrasting color that's opposite, that shows up really nice. And You can even hand paint the hinges to the, like this is bronze, but you can hand paint the hinges and that into gold. And then if you're really clever, you can do all the inside, or you can do the inside the same way and then put felt down the bottom. And if you're really clever, you can actually put glaze on top like a mirror. Now, you can do one or two things. You can do the pour straight to it, or you can make skins, and which I'll show you how to make a skin. And you can cut out the skins to the right shape and glue them down. The good thing about the skins are you can have heaps of different skins that haven't worked out well, right, for a big piece. But pieces, little bits here and little bits there look nice. You get the best out of it. And because these are only small surfaces, what you do is you do all this whole area, and then what you do is you get the blade after it's dried, or if you're using a skin, you can cut it so it opens up. So you still got this, like it's made from the same piece. So yeah, you can glue the skins in. I'd advise you to glue skins in, because trying to paint it like that and get the same effect doesn't work. So, but on the outside, yeah, you're probably better off just using skins. Similar to this technique here, but remembering this is only water. The skins would have purples and different really lovely colours. So that's what they're for. I've got square ones, round ones, rectangle ones. Really, really good. You can put skins on anything. You can even put skins on bottles like that and turn them into bottles with bath salts in it. So what you do is you buy your bath salts, crystals, you pour them into that after you skin it, and then it can be, and put a ribbon on there, a bow, and you've got a nice little gift for Christmas time to present to your mum if they got a bath, or someone that would appreciate a bath with it. So I probably got paint on me, but that doesn't matter. These are cheap. They were supposed to come with a heap of wood. I don't know where the wood is. But you can put the wood in afterwards, but I like the wood in first because it stretches it out more, but we'll see what we can do with it anyway. I'll put that in the bin. See, the reason why I got paper down, it's smart thinking this is, because then it gets a lot of different paints and everything on it from your pours. And before you know it, you've got a work of art. My dog's at the door again, wanting to come in. You can wait. She's a lovely girl. She can wait. All right, I've got to put some white on here. No, you can wait. You heard me mention you. You only do it when I'm on a live stream. She likes her photo taken, but when I'm on live stream, she thinks I'm ignoring her. How you going, Blue? I've just been catching up with chat. Yep, Susan Lee, how you going? Good to see that you chat to one another. What I'm doing is acrylic pours, but just doing the water. Basically, that's why I've got the colours of the water, is because it's transparent too, and then you put some transparent like yellow or a creamy colour to like do the sand. And the reason why you can put the sand down first is the water actually shows through it, so you can layer it. You can actually do a koi fish put sand down, grasses down, wait till it dries, even put epoxy resin in between or varnish, and then you put another layer where you do the fish fins, the underbelly fins that is. Then you let that dry, put another layer of epoxy resin, then put the body, let that dry, another layer of epoxy resin, and then let that dry, and then put the side fins and its tail, three-dimensional wise tail, so the top shows up, and then you can put your let that epoxy resin and let that dry again, and you do that a couple more coats over the whole lot. Or you can do some lacing on it first, so it looks like the ripples of the water showing on top. Shows a bit of light. Yeah, it should be enough. Now, I should get that comb. See how I've got a little comb there? Which is actually a leather lacing tool. I use that a lot. But this is what I recommend. You can get metal ones or you can get plastic ones. Just grab it, won't take 2 secs. I've got all my gear here, but usually I have it all presented for you. This is a hair. And are you following the trend, guys? How many hair products do I have when you're doing this sort of painting? These are just a comb. And I've got a little bit of paint on the tips, but that doesn't matter. It's all dried. And this is just a cheap one that I got off eBay. Get metal ones so they last longer. And what you do is and you can do it like that, whatever. And what you're doing is the paint where it's thicker and it puddles, you allow that to settle, and you can see where the low spots and the high spots are. So here just needs a bit more. But remembering you're going to get a lot more paint and it will settle itself. Yep. Just do it lightly so it doesn't buckle. This is just like when you trowel plaster or glue for like tiling. And what that does is settles the amount. So when your tiles settle and squeeze out, it's even coat. Right, so you just allow that for a couple of seconds, allow it to level out a bit. Then what you do is you get this cell mixture. You can do several things here. if you're going to do allowing it to blow out for like flowers, you can get a hose. Which I've got the hose down there in my cupboard, so I'm not going to retrieve that. Do that for another project. Just going to have a drink because my voice is getting dry. All right. Can you see the selling? There's whites and there's blues in that, and it will start to sell out more. I'll allow it to rest for a bit. The reason is it thickens up, and before I start like manipulating it would be a term. And see how this is floating? And so you don't need it to go all the way to the top, but you want it to go all the way to the sides. So you stop about there. The reason why you don't need it to go all the way to the top is that's where the trees and landscape you're going to actually put in afterwards. And you can maybe even have a bit of sky. So you just take the most of it. And you don't need to go all the way to the edges yet until you do your final. Else you end up having it dripping everywhere. So I like to get it to the bottom. All right, what I do, this is what I do for the water. All right. They will naturally sell. You don't need to put anything on the top because when you do your paintings, you can paint that on the edge. But I just like to go over the edge for the water, so it looks like it's the water. Because remembering allowing that to dry and doing that secondary later, you can actually put a bit of blue there, ready for your landscape. This is just the perfect amount of green. Remembering water will flow, being a lake, it will flow one direction and the sun will shine on that. Remembering the sky, it's three-dimensional, so it'll be darker at top and lighter down the bottom. So what you do is you get a bit of blue, and this does not have to sell. It looks quite blue on the TV, on the camera, but it's actually green. Remembering that will be a lot lighter along there when it dries, and that will be a lot darker up top. And I can put another little bit there so promote the darkness on top. I do have darker blue too if I want to give it more blue accent, because it's got to be lighter as I come down. But remembering I can add gesso to make it lighter and darker. So you put gesso where you want it lighter. And the other thing is you can put gesso where you want it darker. What you do is then put more blue on top and make it less transparent. So there's tricks of the trade. It's like when you're doing any forms of art, like even pencils, sketching with the lead. A lot of artists, the good ones, they add pencil, they take pencil away to get it lighter, so they use the paper as a lighter source. and they keep adding and taking, adding and taking. Same as watercolors. That's why you special brush. But once it dries, you add a little bit more water if you've got good watercolor paints, and you can remove a little bit of it. And so you're constantly adding and taking away. So now I'm going to put a tiny bit of white drizzled to allow for the waves. And what you do is with the hairdryer, we've got cables here. Yeah. Oh, oh, thought I'd check again. I had the hairdryer going and I forgot to put it back on. How you going, Jelly Duck? Oh, how you going, Drone Bum? Paulie, I love your channel. I will watch your channel all the time, Paulie. So thanks for the support. I'm doing some selling and some lacing. So this will represent once it's done, dried and got some layers. And then I'll paint the trees in miniature form. Oh, I've got these little boards here. I'm getting a coat on it first. I let it dry. I could use a hairdryer, but I just do preparation. And then what I do is this is the lake. Then I do the trees there, and then I can actually paint in, say, jetty, stuff like that. Yeah, there I am now. And I can even add some music, but I'll see what I can do. I mean, I could be on here for another hour, so I might as well put some music. Is this going? If not, I'll put it on my... Because I can add another... I can add some music on the TV. Let's do it. I'll put in MU music. Rightio. Without putting paint on this. Go. Refresh it first. Just got one of my old videos. Yeah, if you haven't got Drone Bum, do so. I've had him as a supporter for a very long time, at least 10 months. I can remember seeing one of his videos on Canadian Drone Hub, and it basically him going for a walk with the drone following him, and I've checked him out ever since. So yeah, he's got very good photos. I want to put a little bit more blue here, or even a bit of yellow after it's dried, just to accent where the waves are coming, where it's very clearer. But I won't find that out until it's dried, because this will, a lot of it will go clear and you'll see the blue coming through. And I've got a lot of oil there, so make the oil slick and it'll create that natural pattern right now. What's going on? I'm running out of room, guys. Let's put some music on. Come on. Don't say this is going out of batteries. Oh, there it is. It was wait for me. This is waiting. Actually, I can do it another way. I'll open up another YouTube browser. Do it this way while that's waiting. So if I open up another tab, go to YouTube, go to music. I can't see in it at the moment. So I've got my keyboard under there, so under the table. MU music. Right. Put that on. Don't know if that's going to work. I can't hear it. I won't mess around with that. I'll wait till the other TV. I'll go back to my acrylic pour, see what everyone's saying. Getting ready to go to Sunday's sunrise. Oh, very good. I don't blow smoke up your bum, Paulie. You're a good bloke. You're funny and everything. I like funny people. So as you can see, what the approach I'm doing on this scene, this is the water. That's going to be the sky. That will lighten up. So I can go like that. Come back down to the water. So I don't want it to create. They could create like clouds a bit, misty. That's good. Clean my finger, put that underneath, get rid of that. Go there. I need to pop off to go in a minute anyway, to go to the toilet. Unmute that. This TV, if I let it sit for a while, it freezes up. It's like no one loves it anymore. So I'll put some music on. So at least there's some music in the background. It's good to see people have putting some thumbs up. Take that off. Oh, I'll be right back one sec, guys. Right, sorry about that, guys. Right, still got 3 watching. Good. Good. Yeah, real one. Oh yeah. What do you mean they're funny? Yeah, but looks and everything. Oh, it's okay. You got a face like a radio, like for a radio. It's a little bit screwed up. It's all good. No, I'm sure your wife loves you. Uh, oh, I'm so naughty, but I'm sure your mates would say the same thing to you. Well, I think I am a mate of yours, so why not? Yeah, what are we going to do here? We're going to do some music. Should have had the music going on a while ago. I'll have this all down pat eventually. Doing it a lot differently than what I was showing to do, but some of the bells and whistles are so hard and it gets out of control. It makes it too much bandwidth. So I'm using my mobile phone to share it out so I can see myself in the mobile phone. That's all you need to see is you can see me on one picture and you can see my painting on the other. And this was basically a lot of StreamYards was done, and they're going to do other bells and whistles that would be good for art. Right, YouTube. This takes a while on this computer. I've got to get a SSD card to make it faster. This used to take a lot longer, but I've wiped a lot of crap off of it. But it used to take a half an hour. Now it's only taken 5 minutes. You see a swirl happening. YouTube's coming up. It used to take a half an hour sometimes for YouTube to come up. But I do have the internet directly cable. I should be moving my studio a couple of doors up. I took a day, or actually weeks, maybe a couple of months, to be honest. But it took a day to groom myself to get enough courage to go on screen on YouTube because I thought my face was too much for radio and I wouldn't go on. It took me so much courage. That first intro I did took me a full day because I was so nervous and over self-conscious trying to get myself enough courage to do it. Oh, it was terrible. Did not like. There we are, in music. Now tell me a one in if the music's too loud. Give me a two if it needs to go a bit, if it's just right. Remembering the TV's over here and the mic's quite a distance away. You got to run, no worries. So if Sonny, if you're out there or one of my moderators, just let me know if it's too loud. Put a one in. Might turn it down anyway. A bit loud for me. I think that sounds a bit better. Let you be the judge because you can hear at your end. So I'll keep this live streaming going however long I want it until I'm finished up, because I can set this up on another piece of paper, so if any of the drips run off, it won't matter. Just turning the mic off. Sorry about the noise. I forgot to turn the mic off. What I might do is tidy this up and let it dry, and I might do some tribal art. When these are empty, I'll use these as pots for putting in dirty pours. And then, because what you can do is, I'll do a circle first. Because this dirty pour should do this whole space. Because one pot should be enough to do an A4, to do which is enough to do a coffee cup, like Rodney Bell coffee cup, I brand it as a Rodney one because he sends a lot of them out, and you get them here in Australia, and you use them up. Have you seen any of this 420? Did you see? I'm just doing the backing. Don't know if you can see that. It's liquid art pouring. So what I do is I do the background of the waves. Then once it's dried, I put in the trees. Put a tree down here. Make it photographic sort of rules, and then I draw in or paint in little tiny bits of grass, and that make it all 3D. And if I want to, I can even apply some real little baby shells just to keep it 3D. And then what I do is I epoxy resin it, and that will be a scene of Lake Bonnie to promote my town where I live. And I've got little miniatures there as well. So then there's little ones for, because a lot of people like having little miniatures. And this is a pour that I'm creating. And this is supposed to represent space and that. And just see, this is a piece of acrylic or plastic that you use for a shirt or a sleeve to protect, like these sleeves here that protects all your gels, gems and stuff. You'll see that in delay. No, I'll put some white on this one. There's a white sleeve, the last, well, it's actually a silver. Right, and you can add nail polish and stuff like that. But what I want to do is just create a circle. That's actually a clear, so I better get a white out. I want it white that's opaque. So this is opaque. All right, so that's okay. I'll mix it with it. And this is more of an expensive paint, so therefore I won't need to do a double surface. So that's good. So I get this little tool. Yeah. Get some toilet paper, clean it. I don't know who else is watching. Chat if you want. What did you say? That looks sick. I see what you said. That's okay. Yeah, I'll put show. I don't care because it's 18 plus. Because I'll be doing nudes and stuff. Plus, with its new rules, it's crazy. It's only because they made a big stuff up, Facebook and YouTube, and they're doing illegal things. And now we pay for it. We don't get moderation if we want it kid friendly. So I put it all 18 plus because you know why? The kids will watch it anyway. Because I've got friends that are 12 and 14 and they watch all the adult stuff, real bad stuff, and which I tell them not to watch. And they still do. Silly buggers. Yeah. So they're going to watch it anyway. So they'll get on. They'll know what's going on. Where's my special juice? And a bit of water. Where have I got that to? Just there to make it thinner, so it sits on it, because that's thicker on purpose. That won't run. With the stuff with the water will run off of it. And there's a reason why. Is I want it to sell and swell with purples and greys and stuff. Just clean my blade. It's all rust. There's my little brush. This is a good little brush. I use this for lots of things. It's actually from makeup kits. The stuff that I use for art, from makeup kits, hair products, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, fair enough. I'll let you let that, because you haven't said. I don't think you're allowed to use porn, but I'll just show it and then I'll remove it. Right, freedom of speech, but I just don't want YouTube to block the whole channel. But I've allowed you to say what you said. No worries, 4020. Not a problem. So it wasn't what you said. I'm just removing it for YouTube because I just don't want the channel to be blocked. But I showed it. Blow them. So you understand. I haven't put you on timeout or anything because it's freedom of speech. Because I've got mates that come on here say a lot worse than that. But when it's written, I might do something about it. Right, let's pour this, shall we? Oh, yeah, that's right. But your freedom of speech, it's very important because I don't believe YouTube trying to block you. So you saying it's fine. But I just so for taking away, they'll be happy. Thank you very much, 4020. I appreciate your concern. Now, you see this? Right. And this is a full cup that I've done, right? And it's where the white is. See, the trick is you allow it to puddle, you let it spread out normal. See, normally if I wanted it flat over a square, I'd rake it like you do with a plastering trowel or a tiling trowel. And by doing that, it makes it even. But if I use to make it spread out, and then where it's finished, I then do a complete circle and colour it in around it where the stars and everything are. I can do one big one. I can make a small one over here. So what I'm creating is a constellation of stars and that for a space effect. So I'm going to just turn the mic off just to heat it up a bit. And to spread it, then I'll do a fire gun. The mic back on. See where it's blowing out a bit? If I wanted to do this, I'm only experimenting, I would tape it off with a complete circle. And then what you do is once it's dried, you just take the tape and you've already got your circle. But this is all good. I'll put this in the description too. Doing landscapes and Space Odyssey creations. And the reason why I'm just putting this on plastic, because I'm not making a landscape. I'm actually doing it thick, and I put conditioner in it. I thought I put conditioner in it. I hope so. I hope it don't crack. But anyway, I can't remember putting the conditioner. Oh well. Conditioner, what it does is I'll glue it first, put some glue over it, so it makes it stiff. Because you add glued for a conditioner as well, as a possibility. But I use a hair straightener. Because it's got glue as well as it's got a conditioner to stop your hair from cracking. So hence it stops the paint cracking too. So what I do is I let that dry, right? And that's got all the space colours. And then when that's dry, I put glue on it, allow that to dry, and then it can come off the plastic, or I cut the plastic, and then I can place them as a 3D art on a frame. And then what you do is put a frame around it, and then epoxy resin pour it so it's thick, and then it looks like it's a glass mirror. So there's the true tricks I do. Right, I can do another one here. So let's do a pour. Let's do it right, maybe. Where did I put that stuff? It's here somewhere. Ah, there it is. See, this is a hair straightener. It's really good stuff. It's one of the best product, but it's good price. What did you say? That. Yes, I'll be putting it up against a black background, and then it will pop. Because at the moment, I'm just putting the whites, silver, and purples and pinks in it. And then I'll be placing it on a black background. But then you can draw in and paint in the actual stars. Because there's some stars that look like crosses. And white crosses, yellow crosses, red crosses. They're all different types of stars. We don't see them because there's not enough light for us pupils to pick it up. But when they got sensitive cameras, picks, and they put enough light there, it can actually show up the solar system with the colors. It's beautiful. Yeah, the black background will make it pop, but the plastic is just a way to hold it all together, and then gluing it on top, sandwiching it together, and then it's set. But I'm just going to put a bit of conditioner for the argument's sake. And that should be enough. What you do is you put it with water first, because you don't want to mix up the paint too much. Right, so yeah, and this will pop. But I've got oil in that too. And before I go any further, put some water in. All right, just to make it thinner. Stir this up really nice. Squeeze a lot of it into the water, like with your brush. So push it up against the sides so it mixes. Right, that's there ready. I'll put a bit of gold in. Quite a bit of gold. Because that's got all the glitter in it. And this has got red. Remembering when the red and the gold mixes, turns into orange. So you'll get some orange there too. Put some purple in. But if I was to put some blue, that would be purple too. But with the purple and red, that will make a nice colour. And I'll put this on top. Right. I'll let that sit. Put some oil on it. So 2 drops, which is heaps. Right now, before I go any further, if you haven't seen this 420, if you hang in there, is this is what helps create the magic. Right. Ooh, be careful with the plastic. It's okay. Just softens it. Oi, it's okay. Let's turn that off. Maybe, because it's soft. Before it's soft, that doesn't matter, because that will cool down, and it'll still be a circle. Just straighten it out a bit. They'll give texture too. Anyway, I'm glad I didn't tip over this paint, because I don't want to. And I'll do some various size one. All right. Just use up the paint. See, as you pour that paint over it, it actually pushes it out as well. That worked out good. I'll do it. That's just for one. See how it brings the white up as well. So what I'm doing is stirring it, bringing the colours up, the darker colours up, and the white up. And I've wanted the red to come up because you know, like some of your planets, right? But they're created like a swirl, so that's why the planetorial makeup of it is got like a gas. Some of them, because the gases have got somewhere to go, usually in the atmosphere. It's sort of like when I'm drawing plants and stuff, I feel the plant growing as I do every stroke. Well, when I do planets, I sort of imagine how it's created, or the way I sense it's created. Because you get heavier gases and that, and they swirl in its own space, where you get the lighter gases, they sort of swirl between it, like the white gases, where it's, and it's sort of like they can sort of float more freely, where the denser gases seem to circle it on its own, in its own little area. I'm just putting a bit of light there, because when I do this too, I will get a blue. That's why I haven't used a lot of blue, because the white will show the lighter side where the suns are, but remember there's multiple suns and the stars. But where there's a star shining, I will put a little bit of blue on the edge, so it looks like it's showing up. But remembering, if you've got lots of light, a lot of the light doesn't show up. Like with my Christmas lights here, because I've got these studio lights there, my Christmas light in the background doesn't show up. See, it's only white. All right, there's another one. And that will good, because where it's gone crusty around there, I'll just trim that and make it nice and round. We've got 4 watching. What's this? Good mate, the Big Bang. Yeah, that's right. I got the cursor over. I could see it. Oh, 98. What's that CRI index? What does that mean? Maybe I'll go watch more Big Bang Theory. Needs a red X. Oh, color rendering index. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. So I'll detail that. So I'll turn that into a circle. Take the best out of it. So take the crusty bits off so it's nice and thick. All right, so it's 3D looking. I've got more there. So I'll make as many as I can. So I'll do another one up here. Just gives a little bit of a background too, and allows it to slide over. Runs better. Because if you've got a clear surface, not so bad. But when you've got paper or a canvas, it doesn't run as well. Because that's the whole idea, to make it run. Bit heavy-handed on them ones, but that's okay. But what happened to the bloody music? Oh, sorry for swearing. I had music in the background. I had copyright music the other day, and all YouTube did was got me to delete it. You love my shirt? Yeah, I love it too. I get them from a shop where good for the big guys too, that will be able to enjoy some. I've got some ones where they've got cards on them, like for poker, and I've got cocktail drinks, beers and cocktails and stuff. Ones with birds on them. Oh, this one's got birds. Vintage cars, old-fashioned Australian cars, that is. How do they look, guys? I like one with a little bit more white, but the cell shall come out. Should be able to fit a couple of small ones here. Yeah, just little ones. Should be plenty. And do one here. That should be ample. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh well, any consolation needs about 7. I should go one more for 9. Because I always like odd numbers. It's just me. And when I do smaller ones, I can do one there. Just need little tiny ones. One there. That's good. Better, I should say. Use the excess white. Let it settle. Yeah, that's getting better. About the size I want them. This one is. How's that? That one looks a bit wonky, but I only have to cut out the best anyway. Right. Make a little bit more. Put a bit of conditioner in it. This the second time I did, but first time I didn't. Like I said, there's always 2 ways to skin a cat. And I did a YouTube video called The Chase. Oh, that's okay. It's about some dogs chasing a cat. But what I was doing is I was promoting a review I was doing on a dead cat mic. So I had my dog, several dogs chasing whatever it was up to the viewer to sort of guess what they were chasing, because I wasn't saying anything. And they were circling around, and I fast motioned it. It's called The Chase. Check it out. I made it black and white, made it a little bit more unfriendly. Like, my dogs are cute, but I made them like they were vicious. And one person watched it, but was nearly deciding not to. Because his cat, died a couple of months prior, and he was feeling a bit upset. And because he knew it was me, I thought he'd give it a go. That's where it comes down to reputation. Reputation. But it ended up being a dead cat mic that I held up and showed him. It's like topping jam or jello on a donut. They'll mix all right. A lot of this I'll cut to perfect circles. Still got a little bit more to go, so might as well use this up. You can see how it's selling up in the cup. These will be gorgeous once I put a clear coat over it and make it shine. Make a heap of little ones, and then I can paint the stars later and so forth. I'm going to put a little bit of silver paint on this, and very, very lightly. Or some silver glitter. I only just need a light stir just to bring the whites through. So that's just not purple. But that will work out well. We used to have marbles that we used to play with as a kid. And some of them were really good looking with like different colours going through it. That's the environment that I sense and see with them doing this. Yeah, Texas Hold'em. I like Texas Hold'em. Someone's cheating if you got 5 aces. Yes. someone got 2 aces in their hand with Texas Hold'em, and he was able to get an extra $100 on top of the pot by winning that, and being able to show their hand as it finished. Because sometimes you don't get the opportunity to see it, because some people fold as soon as the aces come out. They obviously had kings or something, because else they wouldn't have stayed in the hand, and hoping no one had an ace. Well, I think I've got a little bit left, but I think I've got overcrowded this. But doesn't matter. I'm going to cut this all out and then applying it to a painting. Like, you get a canvas like that, all right? And the beauty of this, you can do a painting on that side, on this side, or if you're really clever, you do a painting on the inside. And then what you do is do your 3D art in there, and you put a piece of plastic acrylic over the top. So there's a space in between. And by doing that, you do a background, or you do your planets, and then you do another layer on clear plastic with your stars and stuff. You have some at the background, but you have some at the foreground. And then you put a clear acrylic sheet over it, and then you epoxy resin it, so it's all becomes part of the frame. And you blacken your frame so it's nice and black, and seal it with a hot glue gun and smear it before epoxy resin it. And then you've got a nice little painting. Perfect for a boy's bedroom or something, where it's not overpowering, it's just a little picture. And they're great. I mean, girls love it too. Like, there's 40-year-old lady that lives next door, and she's got a telescope, and she watches all the star stuff. So I've got another piece of plastic there. In fact, I can do it on here and then cut it out afterwards. I broke the other one up, but it does not matter because they're only covering the canvas. Won't worry about that. Right. Landscapes and spacescapes. let them sit there, guys. Let them dry. We can watch a couple of live streams. Because I've slept all afternoon. I feel really good now. I felt lousy most of the day. Once I put them on black, they will really pop. I'll make a landscape out of them. I even got some bigger frames. I can probably make a nice big one. Nice rectangle one or something. Make it a view like it's out the side of a spaceship. What I can do is paint a border around so it looks like a spaceship window. I can even draw in a astronaut just in the corner floating around, and then have the space planets and that behind it. Do anything. If I'm really smart, I can do another one where you've got the hole where you're looking through. I can even have a part of the spaceship and 3D, and then all the solar system. Yeah, lots of different things. Part of the landscape, isn't it? All right then, guys. I'm out now. Please subscribe. Please send it out to the other media groups, Twitter, Facebook, etc. Or whoever you follow, and show it out there. I've done it for 3 hours, so that's good. Good. With the other devices, that's like 9 hours. That's good. So, yep. So no further ado, I'm out. See you guys.